Welcome to the Exhibition Podcast. Today we're diving into one of the fastest growing areas in the Western performance horse industries, team roping, futurities, and stakes. Our guest today is Chad Thomson from here in Alberta, someone who has played a significant role in the team roping industry as a competitor, a breeder, and even a futurity developer. Over the past couple of years, Chad has been instrumental in developing the Canadian Snaffle Bit Futurity, a team roping event that's helping push the industry forward here in Canada. We'll also talk about the growth of futurity purses, the incredible support from team roping stallions and the exhibition auction, and also we're going to talk about the inaugural season of the exhibition reining stakes that's looking to help grow purses here in Western Canada. Please welcome Chad Thomson to the Exhibition Podcast. Well, hey, Chad, thanks for joining us here today on the Exhibition Podcast.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So, hey, Chad, for people who don't know you, do you mind just giving a little bit of background as far as your roots within the team roping world and any other, connections within the Western performance horse industry?
Yeah, for sure. I grew up Black Diamond. Grew up with cows, horses, riding. Yeah, all summer we kind of lived out west on horseback, so chased cows around. And then when I was in high school, I went and worked off and on for my brother. He's cow horse trainer, rope horse trainer, and so kind of got started there. Then I took off and wanted to chase bronc riding, so I went and did that for a few years and circled back around and started training horses again. And then the team roping thing kind of just has evolved into what it has now. So
Well, and it's growing like crazy, so it brought you in.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, now as you're kind of, go through that circle, I mean, you're a breeder, you've created a show, you're a participant, you're a competitor. Is that all right?
Yeah, we're trying to get more into the breeding stuff. The competitor, I mean, I enter. I don't rope very good, but yeah, I darn sure will enter.
Yeah. A lot of room, as far as the challenge of the sport goes. I'm guessing like it's something that you just, bit of an addiction where you're just looking to get better all the time.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's it's frustrating. It's like golf. There's
Yeah.
And the tough part about it too is there's kids now
Yeah.
that are 11 years old that rope better than I do.
Yeah.
So they have quite a chance.
Yeah.
Me, it's yeah, that's why I like doing the horse training part of it.
Mhm.
Is I feel like that kind of fills the void of maybe not being a very good team roper. I at least get to see my horses go on
Yeah.
and do good, and I can win without winning, I
Right.
guess is part
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's super interesting. And so, I'm just learning about, so much of the team roping industry. You mentioned the youth and that, like, so, from what I can tell and people who I've met and talked to and stuff, like there's a good youth participant level within the industry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome for the future. Well, with all the years that you've spent in the roping world and getting into the breeding and stuff, how would you say, like, now being a team roper, how is that influencing the choices that you're making for your breeding program?
Yeah, it's kind of went 0 to 100 just flat out now. Like everybody, there's all these stallion incentive programs.
Yeah.
That are their own standalone events. So there's that. There's also now a need for size.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing that is really changed in the last few years. Forever, everyone was hanging around the cutting barns looking for stuff they wouldn't ride anymore.
Yeah.
Well, no one wants to ride a 14-hand cutting horse anymore. Everybody, whether it's head horse, heel horse,
Yeah.
they want them 14-3, 15, head horses 15-1, good bone, and it can hold up. And
Yeah.
yeah, the days of riding little horses are they're being bred out of the team roping industry for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's an exciting opportunity. I mean, specifically, our events are on the reining side of things, but we do spend time, of course, with the video work that we do in the cutting and the cow horse and that, right?
Yeah.
And so then, as we're building our stallion auction, which we'll talk about in the interview today, it is creating an extra opportunity for those reining prospects that maybe don't work out as reiners. And so, can you talk a little bit about how they fit into your industry?
Yeah, I mean, that is what team roping was built on for a
Right.
long time, was the reigning prospects, that didn't quite make the shows, the cow horse prospects that didn't quite make the shows, the cutting horses. And now the nice thing is there's within all three of those disciplines,
Yeah.
there's a lot of crossover now.
Right.
It's just people don't, if they're a reject, they're a reject.
Hmm.
They're not, it's not the days where they suck at that. Okay, we'll make them a team roping horse and they can go win.
Yeah.
They want producing mares, producing stallions, and good offspring. And it just, yeah,
Yeah.
it's mirrored those events. It's just lagging 50 years behind.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. Well, like as we look across the industry, those team roping futurities are just the purses are growing, the shows are growing, just the entries, the size of the shows, competitors, all of that, the attention that they're getting. So from your viewpoint, like what do you think is driving that growth? Big
Well,
question, right?
well, it is, but well, for one, it's all kind of come to a head. There's a lot of money to be won,
Mhm.
but also team roping is uh, in the past has been the cheapest, most user-friendly sport
Hmm.
to get into. Because if you're if you are a low, because it's all numbered,
Mhm.
and if I'm a crappy roper, I can show up and I can go to a jackpot every weekend, and I can go spend $400, and I might win $2,000.
Hmm.
And it's not like the other events where you have to keep your horse in training all year. So anybody can be a team roper. But now with the futurities, it's becoming more of a specialized thing. But these horses, after they're done their aged event career, then they can go on and they can just go live out their days being a team roping horse and going to jackpots and
Yeah.
stuff. So it's very, I guess it's a very user-friendly sport.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's an innovation that really I think lends itself to that industry growth where you talked about where, you've got that leveling and you mentioned golf earlier and to me that handicap system,
Mhm.
right? For the amateur
Yeah.
golfer, that's what makes it fair. So we can go to the course and we can all have an equal opportunity to compete. I mean, you got your sandbaggers and stuff. I should
Yeah.
like, is there sandbagging in the in the team roping side?
Um, there kind of is,
Yeah,
but the thing with it, a lot of times, people think that the
right.
kids and girls are a little undernumbered.
Yeah,
But you know what? At the end of the day, if you show up and you rope all of your cows,
yeah,
you're gonna win.
that's awesome.
It's just everyone's got an excuse.
Yeah,
But if you just go do your job, team roping,
yeah,
you're going to win.
yeah,
So you just have to go rope all your cows, and it's hard to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even if you fail, then there was like, you're so close, and
Yep.
that's that drive that comes back and keeps you going. And, I love your comment about, the $400 or whatever. Typically when we're building our events again on the rating side of things, it's an NRHA approved event. I mean, the total cost of coming and bringing your horse and
Oh,
being
it's
there
crazy.
for almost a week, right?
Yep.
Whereas, and we see it in the barrel racing side of things too, where it's just like, yeah, like like a couple a day, you hit this one in the morning and this one in the afternoon.
Yep.
But for those people who, have invested and love to compete, love their horse, that ability to then just, to enjoy it,
Yeah.
is great. And
Well, the thing about team roping too, with the prize money that's available
yeah,
in the futurity side of it, is unlike maybe the cow horse, for instance, if you send your horse to a trainer for essentially 2 years to get into the futurities,
Yeah.
you've invested a lot.
A lot.
If you stay in Canada and go to the 3 futurities up here,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to cover your training bill, let alone come out ahead.
Yeah.
The team roping, there's a good chance that your horse can win your training and then some.
Yeah.
And you also have the ability to show it yourself.
Right.
So
Totally makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about like the purses, because, like obviously when you're looking at the big shows that are growing and the purses are growing, the cost to participate in that is obviously far more significant.
yeah,
And then you got to travel across the border and that. I mean, we're looking here, and that's part of our conversation today, and the work that we're doing is to create purses here in Canada
yep.
that people don't have to travel for. But beyond that, like right now, like try to help me understand, like, what do you think is specifically driving those larger purses at some of those big shows that are happening right now?
I don't fully know the answer to that.
Okay.
I think it's a combination. There's people that have money that want to see it grow.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of people that want to partake in it because, like I said, you don't have to be a $1 million rider.
Yeah.
There's 100,000 non-pros essentially in, Texas probably alone.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of that. Like it's in the futurity game now with a lot of these big stallions coming on board. There's that, and it's kind of all just come to a head.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think like it's important to then create that opportunity? Is there a growth opportunity with greater purses as far as, making a living as a trainer? Whether you're a breeder and you're raising those great prospects, do you feel like that is important, that purse growth to
oh
make
yeah.
that viable?
Yep, for
Yeah.
sure it is. And it actually there is an avenue now
Mm-hmm.
for trainers.
Yeah.
Like there's guys that are now solely team open futurity trainers.
Yeah.
And they're making good living.
Mm-hmm.
And rightfully so. It's
Yeah.
it's a grind, and it's a huge opportunity for people, and in the breeding
Right.
side of it too.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, it's all kind of new. People have been breeding horses forever, and there's been team ropers that have been breeding horses forever, but
Yeah.
now it's all the bloodlines and everything. It's all coming together, and
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of opportunities for different things.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Before we hit record on the interview, we did talk briefly about team roping Canada, and I'm curious, like as far as here in Alberta, where we are, so are you typically seeing competitors as far as Canadians go, BC over to Manitoba? Are you seeing like Ontario and even further east? How does the industry function that way?
Yeah, it's pretty much the bulk of it's Alberta. Then there's lots of team ropers in BC, Saskatchewan, Manitoba too, but you don't see many come over from Ontario.
Right.
I'm sure they have their
Yeah.
ropings over there too, but
Yeah.
we don't. There's not a lot of crossover there,
Yeah.
but it's only growing all the time.
Well, and you look at the expenses of traveling, and
Yeah.
and it's just easier to go south
Well,
and
exactly. They
across
can
the
go
border.
down into the States, and there's big
Yeah.
jackpots there. And they're
Yeah.
closer for them. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So let's just talk briefly about you and I met because 2 years ago you had reached out and inquired about our video services for the
Yeah.
Canadian Snaffle Bit team roping futurity that you were putting on. It was going to be its inaugural year, and I think because you may not have known at the time that we were producing our own reining events and sort of
No.
had some bumps and bruises along the way. And so you and I ended up talking for a real long time. But we were excited to be a part of that first event. And then I was really excited last year when you were going to run it again. Do you want to talk a little bit about your vision as far as creating that event and what you'd hoped it would add to the industry? It's a pretty broad question, but
Yeah, for sure. I've always, because I grew up working for my brother in the cow horse side of it,
yeah.
and I've always wanted to see the two come together.
Mm-hmm.
I've always thought there was a big need for it, and it's funny, whether it's cow horse guys, the reiners, or the cutters, they get very narrow focused on that industry.
Yeah.
And on the flip side of it, the team ropers are very naive to the rest of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hoping to bring it all together, and that's what a lot of these futurities have already done.
Yeah.
But originally we wanted to combine it with the cow horse show and hope for some crossover there, and it didn't really work the way we were hoping.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I don't know. Just the way it goes.
Yeah.
But you know, it
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it
yeah,
drink.
well, there you go. And it's not that there wasn't not that there was a lack of interest going either way. It just I don't know.
Yeah.
It's you just can't force it. And we were excited to go again with the Cower show, and then they decided they weren't going to do that show.
Mm-hmm.
So then we just wanted to go on and do our thing and make it more about the team roping horses and not about the cow horse. But originally, like, there is some stallions in Canada
Mm-hmm.
that have won a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money. And they're not part of some of these stallion programs yet, like the Royal Crown and stuff. So there's team ropers that have never heard of some of these horses.
No kidding.
And that was kind of my original thing, is like, let's do a stallion showcase.
Right.
And let's bring some of these studs and show people what there is to breed to in Alberta.
Yeah.
And Western Canada.
Yeah.
And it kind of led us to this, which is it's that.
Right.
It's that, only it's maybe not how I thought it would go.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's better than how I envisioned it, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's more opportunity this way.
And I remember from that first show, there was a break in between the rounds, and I was down in the Hitchin area, and one of the stallions was there. And I can't say who it was because I don't remember. I believe I was informed which stallion, so I can't play any favoritisms and give a shout out on this podcast episode. But I mean, he was just a specimen standing there, so I'm guessing he might be one of those that you're talking about that you wanted to showcase at your event. And I mean, one of the things that we do with our live streams, and it's integrated within the horse show program that we built, but that ability to put that breeding information up on the screen while they're while they're competing, and I think that can start to go down that path of acknowledging and celebrating some of that breeding side of who's out there. You mentioned Royal Crown, and we've been involved with them, and it's very exciting, I think, what they're doing here, Royal Crown Canada, and that. But, if I remember correctly, like, even on the futurity event at the time, like, that market didn't necessarily exist here in Canada. Is that right?
They created it.
Yeah.
Yep. They came in and put their money where their mouths were, and they've kind of created it. So originally, and there's probably been other ones that, but for forever, there was one really futurity that went every year, and that was at North Leinster in the CFR.
Okay.
I think the Schmitz put it on. If I could be wrong, sorry. If
someone will let us know.
Yeah, but
no bad
it was an awesome futurity.
Yeah.
It was in that little indoor building there, and then when the CFR moved to Red Deer, they moved it to Panoka during
Mm-hmm.
the CFR and Red Deer. It was actually the kind of the few days leading up to the CFR.
Okay.
And I think they only did it once.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think they were done with it. And Kenton Fawcett
Mm.
took over, started putting on one in, um, it was at, was it, I think at Round's place for a while. Anyways, and he put it on there. It's called the Fall Classic.
Okay.
And it was a good show. And then it moved over to the Bonnets.
Mm-hmm.
And it's huge and it's awesome. And then so there was pretty much just that futurity.
Right.
And then the Royal Crown came in, and then yeah, we've started putting on our show. Matt Gingras puts on a show.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
there's Manitoba. Manitoba's actually always gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they it's a good show. It's just it's a long ways over there,
Yeah.
but it's a good show. It's in a cool facility.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we came in last year and we helped build a purse for your futurity in its second year, but what you and I had talked about is like, just, sharing with you how we were building our stallion program and our incentive
Mm-hmm.
program specifically on the reining stake side of
Yep.
things. And you felt like that was an exciting approach and perhaps an innovative approach to what you had seen on the team roping side of things. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the growth that we're looking to take on moving into this season and continue to help grow a purse. But it's through our stallion program.
Yeah.
And so, you helped us get the word out, and some of our team have also, connected within the industry, have reached out. But our stallion auction this year has been supported in a huge way for what would be, those roping stallions that are going to create that prospect that you're talking about,
Yep.
as opposed to the reject prospect. And so,
Exactly.
like we are so happy and so thankful, because it takes time. And so this is year one. But I think if you go to our stallion auction, and as far as those nominated, more specific roping stallions, I think the number's up to about 25 or 26 that we've got on there. What does that say to you as far as that support that we've received?
It's huge. And I think there's a lot of the stallion owners can see the potential in it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like with your program that you've talked about, it's very inexpensive for people. And that's been the only thing that I've seen within the futurity industry that is tough, is it's been built on the backs of the stallion owners.
Yeah.
And there's only so much money you can fork out.
Yeah.
To where it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think this program is there's no limit how big it can grow.
Yeah.
And there's no limit to how big it should grow.
Mm-hmm.
It should be.
I mean, and ultimately, I mean, the more players that you bring in, that,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a math guy, but that, it reduces the chances of winning for sure, because you have all these extra participants. But I mean, back to your comment earlier about, kind of that ability to spend $400 to go to the roping and maybe make $2,000. And that is a part of what we're building.
Yeah.
But, in order to make that true, in order to make those purses truly grow, we're looking for that volume.
Yeah.
So if people don't know about it, as far as, I don't intentionally want to just promote our program, but to nominate a stallion into our program, you don't need a breeding to the auction.
Yep.
And so what happens is then whatever we raise out of that auction, that breeding money comes into our incentive program, which we can use to build and grow purses. And then it makes the prospects of those stallions eligible for the stakes that we have. And again, where it's the reining stakes program that we've got, and now with our team roping stakes that we're kicking off here in 2026. But one of the huge benefits to the stallion owner is that the winning bidder that breeds that foal is automatically in the program.
Yep.
And then the stallion owner is able to put one of their own prospects into the program at no extra cost as well. And so the result is they've got skin in the game now, and that's something that I've heard from some of the programs where the stallion owners are asked to pay a big fee. but there's no guarantee that the people who are breeding to their stallion are going to pay into that program anyways.
No.
And if that happens, like your chances of getting a return on that investment is zero.
So here's another side of it, and I'll just use the Royal Crown as an example. So I've bought quite a few prospects in the last few years, and I try to search out the ones that have the nominations to the,
of course, yeah,
the Breeders' Elite, the Royal Crown, those ones.
mm-hmm.
But with the Royal Crown, for instance, if I buy, say, Stud X is in the future or in the program,
Yeah,
well, I buy a 2-year-old and it's advertised as Royal Crown. Well, that stud has to continue forking over money into that, or else my so-called prospect that's nominated for the Royal Crown isn't nominated anymore.
Interesting. Yeah.
So that's a tough thing.
Yeah.
Unless it's born, if that prospect is born in the year they went in, then it is eligible.
Okay.
Whereas this, it's a one-time fee for the prospect owner.
Yeah.
And your horse is nominated for life.
You're in.
And I think that is huge.
Yeah.
Because you're not banking on someone else to nominate your horse. Your fortune is in your hands.
Yeah.
And like what we talked, I think the cool opportunity is building team ropings to where horses never aged out.
Yeah.
And that is, I believe, what's going to grow the industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, unfortunately, the trainers that are going to do it.
Yep.
It's the everyday guy that just wants a team rope.
Yeah.
Like in the team roping world, it's like a limited and an intermediate class, which would be the non-pro in the other disciplines. And that is where this whole thing's going to grow. It's not going to grow on the backs of the trainers, unfortunately. As much I hate to say it, it's just yeah.
And I mean, like you're making me think about how, like, I hate saying the word, but coming out of COVID, that interest in the sport of reining, it created a shortage in the market as far as horses prospects go. And so for people to get into, a new rider or someone who's, looking at, they've got time and they want to get a horse that can compete. You don't have to win, but you have to compete. And so, I believe that a program like ours, like you talked about, they never have to retire. And so if we can expand the quantity of capable horses within the industry, that creates an opportunity for growth, long-term opportunity to because I've heard in different disciplines that there's concern, like, what happens, like, is the industry, when we look out 10 years, 20 years, what's the forecast? And so, like that's a part of our program as well. One of my questions would just be related to this. Like, do you feel like the timing is right for us to be, getting into a program like this for the industry?
Yes, I do. I think it's the perfect time, actually. Yeah. With how big everything is growing, and there's nothing similar to this. The closest thing to what the exhibition's done would be the Regatta Buckle. Where it's essentially the same concept, only the stallion owner has to pay in, and it's a little bit different, but the ability for anybody to go win is there. And that is why I believe it's going to grow.
Right. Yeah. No, we're definitely building a very inclusive program, and hopefully, like, for us, what we love about the work that we do within the industry is just creating, events that are fun, that people are excited about, but just keep that financial risk as low as possible. And so, that's the goal. We talked earlier, and you brought it up during the conversation already now about looking to the future, because any of these ideas, even like your original thoughts around, your futurity that you had, they take time. And and so we know that by starting now, we're going to work on that growth, but the true benefits of that come in, let's say, in 5 years from now.
Yeah.
And that was the target we hit, because we're going into our third year of our incentive program on the reining stake side, but in 5 years. So look into the crystal ball.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see the industry future if you could project 5 years or 10 years from now? Would you risk making some predictions of where you see things going?
It's going to just continue to grow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where it's going.
Yeah.
But it's going somewhere, and it's going fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the cool thing with all these futurities and stuff is, I was saying earlier, the whole thing is built on the non-pro, if you will. Like, it will be, those are the people that are going to grow it. But for the trainers, it's a cool opportunity, especially a program like this, because I can pay someone to ride my horse for 3 years, show them, and hopefully they win. And then at the end, I can take them and I can continue to show it.
Right.
And I think that is going to help a lot. It's some incentive for people to send their horses to be trained.
Yeah. And
shown. And yeah. So I think it's going to continue growing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. And that's where, like, for me, as far as the events that we create and that, we've always had a focus on building an event on the reining side of things. You got your green reiner class. And the first year that we ran our big exhibition reining show, we had over 80 entries go in the green reiner class. And that's huge on the reining side of things. I know the numbers are very different on the team roping, but as far as the scale, but other events you might see 10, 15, 20. So from that trainer's perspective, what an opportunity if all of a sudden you're seeing that industry growth, bringing in those new competitors. Do you see, like, I've heard even on the reining side of people who saying like, hey, I want to try roping my horse. And, is there still an opportunity for a lot more participants here in Western Canada, or specifically Alberta?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure there is.
Yeah.
And that's where I think going ahead with putting on some team roping events where there's added money for the incentivized horses is a good thing, because there's a lot of people that don't want to be judged.
Right.
It's not that enjoyable, and it's hard to think about roping and what your horse is doing at the same time for 99% of people. There's the 1% of guys that show their horse is really good at the roping. And so there's a lot of people that are nervous to get into it.
Yeah.
But they're happy to go to the jackpot, where it's just a timed thing. It's not how pretty it looks. It is going and roping your cattle.
Great.
And I think that is where the opportunity is the greatest, because you don't have to be Jeremy Bueller. If you go just approach that jackpot like you do everyone and rope your cattle, there's going to be some good money to be won.
And I think like people forget, and again, speaking as a guy who's never roped before, but everyone who's throwing the rope, they all threw their first rope.
Yep.
Right. And so there's an appreciation for someone who is willing to take that risk to come and try it, and you feel like you're being judged because you're out there in the arena, but I don't believe that's happening.
No, you're just being judged by the judges.
Of course.
Yes.
That's important.
So, but as far as it judged by your peers, it's actually, it's not that way at all in the roping. Because like you said, everybody has sucked.
Right.
Even the best guys have days where they suck. So yeah, it's a pretty friendly group, and it's not intimidating to get into at all. The only intimidating thing's trying to show your horse and catch your cattle.
Yeah. Well, hey, Chad, I want to thank you for coming on the podcast and talking about, your background and your show, and for all of the support that you've given us and the excitement that you've shown us. I mean, one of the things that I appreciate about you so much is, you know, you're young and you're enthusiastic, and I think you have big hopes and dreams for what this industry has to offer, the ability for growth. And so for all the people that, you know, have already introduced us to, you know, one of the things that people should know about me is that, yeah, I mean, I have very little knowledge, but I'm a very curious person,
Yeah.
and I like to ask questions and I like to learn. And so thank you for everything that you've done for us so far. I hope that the future is bright. And so, yeah, 2026 is going to be an exciting year for the work that we do at the exhibition. I hope that your industry starts to hear and know our name and understand that we're there to support you and the work that the industry is doing in every way that we can. So I would just add too, like feedback and ideas. We take it all because, you know, sometimes we make a lot of mistakes. And you think that something is going to be good, and if it's not, we quickly evolve. And you
Yeah.
know, I think that's one of our strengths. But yeah, and so, you know, I think when we look at what does the team roping stakes look like this year, we've been having conversations, you know, you and I, and some of the other people within the industry. We started that a little bit, but no more. So we're going to help the industry out in a show in purse growth this year as much as we can.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're going to take that information and look to see where does it best serve everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and thank you, honestly, for jumping in. It's it's a risk, and I think it's a payoff.
Yeah.
I do. I I truly think there's no limit to how big it can grow,
Yeah.
which is good. There's not a limited number of spots.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it only takes someone who believes in it.
Right. Yeah.
And
Well, thank you again. And
thank
it's
you.
been a pleasure having you as a guest on the exhibition podcast. And so hopefully
Yeah,
everyone
thank you guys.
enjoys the conversation. And I know we do have a lot of reigning listeners out there, but now if they see you in the arena, they're going to stop by and say hello because Chad's a super friendly guy. And yeah.
Some people might disagree, but
Well, before we let him go, though,
Oh.
on behalf of like the rest of the team at the exhibition, I want to, as Dave did, thank you. It's been great to be able to take our skills like from the video part of our business and from the cutting, the reining, the cow horse events, and move right into, you know, your roping events. And so while we've got you here, I just need to ask, though, I'm fascinated by just the roping in general. It's an amazing skill, and you talk about these young kids that, you know, coming up are phenomenal ropers. And I remember seeing this one kid at a show. He could barely walk. He just learned to walk,
yeah.
and he's like twirling his rope like a seasoned professional. And so I can only imagine that kid who's probably like 3 or 4 now and is going to be, you know, when he's 10, probably like world championship skills if he keeps you know, honing his skills like that. How difficult is it not just to learn how to rope in general, but I'm fascinated by not just the header, but the heeler, like the timing on that. And we have access to all this video, and I'm slowing it down, and like it's just amazing. Can you talk about either your experience specifically or just in general of how somebody acquires that skill set?
It's just running a lot of cows, roping every day over and over and over. It's that timing thing that's one thing I struggle with on when I'm healing. It is so hard.
Because you're aiming like for the dirt, right?
Yeah, you're trying to rope the feet
Yeah.
when they're back, essentially. Before they jump forward. You're putting your rope in front of the feet.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is showing a heel horse is so hard. Showing a head horse is hard too, very hard. But it is the way some of these guys, how easy they make it look, and I think a lot of it is they've just been doing it since they were 3, 4, 5 years old. So
Yeah.
it's kind of the opposite of the way I feel. They don't have to think about roping the feet. They just got to think about what their horse is doing. I can't even. I wish I had that muscle memory in me to do that. It's incredible skill that they got, and yeah, it starts when they're young. Not saying you can't learn when you're older, but
Yeah.
Well, and
I'm proof that it's hard.
well, and from a spectator's point of view, it's not the same every time, and it's
No.
still to me it's still fascinating every time, whether I'm helping out, whether Eric or somebody else on our team is on the camera or I'm on the camera, watching on the monitor. And so yeah, I just find it fascinating because it is a finite skill that so many of those guys have honed. And like you've mentioned before, the top guys don't always hit it every time. So
No.
every time is an adventure.
Oh, for sure. And that is the crazy thing about team roping is you're investing your money at the shows. There's a lot of variables. You got two
Uncontrolled.
horses, two people, and a cow, and that's a lot of brains
Yeah.
moving all at once. And yeah, so many things can happen, and so many things can fall apart. And some days it's your day, and you can show up and you can't miss. And some days it's just yeah. But it's addicting that way too. That anybody can show up to a roping and have a day and win.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
It's great that way.
Yeah.
It's and that alone is why team roping is the biggest equine sport in the world.
Wow. Yeah.
Or in North America anyways.
Yeah. No,
and
that's
it's
awesome.
only getting bigger. So yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, hey, unfortunately, you're not going to see me getting on the back of a roping
Well,
horse and throwing. I don't know. We part of our
2026.
Yeah, and I think though, again, like speaking to the people who maybe are new to the podcast, but I feel like it is a strength of what we bring to the industry because other than producing a great event for the competitors, we're not participants ourselves.
Yeah.
But it does allow us, again, as I said a little bit earlier, to take that feedback from a lot of people and then try to make a decision that's best for as many people as possible. Yeah, that's I don't know. Hearing you talk about it, Mark's question there. I mean, maybe there's a chance. Maybe one day. Is there a time when I'm too old?
No.
to get
So
started?
that's the thing about it.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Well,
It's like picking up a golf club.
is there a crossover between, like you mentioned, golf, but like a hockey player, former hockey player? Is it an advantage?
The more athletic you are, the better it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny you see the odd ex
Yeah.
hockey player or whatever show up, and yeah. No, it's good. Well, and it's a good thing too with the team roping. It's a sport you can do till you can't ride anymore. They down in Arizona, they have over 40, over 50 jackpots. Those are the biggest jackpots down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
as opposed to when you talked earlier about the bronc riding and that, like maybe you age out a little bit there.
some earlier than others. Yeah, but yeah, well, then that's just it. There is a limit on a career in the rough stock events, and
yeah,
even the calf roping and the bulldogging, but the team roping, you might not be able to compete at the top level for terribly long, but there's always a spot to compete.
That's awesome.
And
yeah. Well, thank you again. And if for people who are interested in following you and some of the work you're doing as young breeder, but your show and anything else going on, what's the best way to keep track of what you're up to?
I don't know.
Are you on the Facebook?
Facebook, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Follow my wife.
Okay.
Yeah, she's more into it than I am, I guess.
I've got you as a follow, and I see some of your posts once in a while, but we'll look at
mostly just causing trouble.
Yeah.
That's all I do on there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, Chad, and we'll look forward to seeing you down the road.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
It was awesome.
Well, thanks again to Chad Thomson for joining us on the Exhibition Podcast. I hope you enjoyed that conversation. And for those of you who are listening and are curious about the auction, it's not too late. This episode is getting out just as the auction is coming to an end. It runs through till January the 31st of 2026. And even at that point in time, if you're a stallion owner, it's not too late to nominate your stallion into our program for the 2026 season. There is a cost to doing that rather than donating a breeding to the auction. And for those of you who do have a stallion and want to look to donate a breeding for the future, we would welcome you and everyone into our program. As Chad and I had talked about, our program is meant to be very inclusive and affordable in a way. And as we get that support and growth, that's what's going to allow our program to be successful. This was our first episode of the 2026 season, and we are excited about many of the guests we have coming up. And so make sure you subscribe to the podcast, and we'll see you down the road.